Nigeria is a country rich in vibrant cultural diversities. There are about 1,150 dialects and ethnic groups and 527 languages practiced by over 230 million plus inhabitants in the country. There are possibly other ethnic groups with sizable populations across different parts of the country. Before colonization, Nigeria had customs that governed and checkmated their behaviors and excesses. Though many of the customs practiced back then have been abolished, since most of them were barbaric and did not conform to equity and good conscience. Customary law is still prevalent and is becoming more acceptable nationwide. Researchers have posited that customary law largely regulates the lives of about 80% of Nigerians. This discussion today will deeply expose you all to customary court system, its practice, that is jurisdiction of customary courts, using Lagos State as a case study, and also expose you to the lingering problem of infrastructural dilapidation of courts across the country. Hey, and welcome back to Legal Essentials, where we enlighten you on matters arising from the perspective of the law. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. Please do well to hit the like button and also subscribe for more content like this. So, what is customary court system? Academics and jurists describe customary law in many ways. Ukana described customary law of a community as a body of customs and traditions which regulates the various kinds of relationships between members of the community. The customary court system is a traditional system of resolution of conflicts and administration of justice in Nigeria. The system is based on the custom and traditions of various ethnic groups. Although customary courts are not established by the Constitution, Customary Court of Appeal has its bedrock from the provision of Section 280 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999. Each customary court across the state has its law and rules governing its procedure. They are established to handle disputes at the grassroots level. Practice and procedure in customary courts. Customary courts exercise both civil and criminal jurisdiction powers to make legal decisions and judgments. Civil jurisdiction of customary courts in Lagos State. Customary courts in Lagos State have civil jurisdiction to exercise unlimited jurisdiction in matrimonial causes and other matters between persons married under customary law or arising from a union under customary law and related matters. Customary courts in Lagos State have unlimited jurisdiction in suits relating to the guardianship and custody of children under customary law. Also, customary courts in Lagos State have jurisdictions in matters relating to inheritance upon intestacy and the administration of intestate estates under customary law, provided that the customary court shall not have jurisdiction where the value of the property or claim exceeds 500,000 naira. Finally, customary courts of Lagos have civil jurisdiction in other matters as conferred under any bylaw passed by a local government, provided the claim does not exceed 500,000 naira. Customary courts in Lagos State have criminal jurisdiction for summary trial of offences created under a bylaw of a local government and may impose the punishment provided by the bylaw for the offence on conviction. Customary courts in Lagos State also have criminal jurisdiction to impose the punishment authorized by law in respect of contempt of court committed in the face of the court. The fine which a customary court in Lagos State may impose in respect of any offence shall not exceed, in the case of 1. An individual 50,000 naira, and 2. A corporate offender 500,000 naira only. Also, the penalty that a customary court in Lagos State may impose shall not exceed 1 month imprisonment or 6 weeks community service. Decisions from customary courts can appeal to higher courts, such as Customary Court of Appeal or High Courts. Appeal decisions from customary courts can be appealed to higher courts, such as Customary Court of Appeal or High Courts. Enforcement decisions from customary courts may be enforced to higher courts, such as High Courts or Federal Courts. Review decisions may be subject to review by higher courts. On a hot Wednesday, July 12, 2023, the Chief Judge of Ekiti State, Justice Oyewole Adeyeye, escaped death when a section of the State High Court complex collapsed on him while in office. Although Justice Adeyeye sustained major injuries, the incident is a sad reflection of the deplorable state of infrastructure in most buildings in Nigeria and the pitiful state of facilities available to court officials and users in the country. Nigeria currently has some of the best judicial officers in Africa, but sadly, it does not reflect the same in court facilities across the country. For efficient dispensation of justice, court facilities including courtrooms, offices, judge or magistrate chambers, toilets, libraries, electricity are serious necessities. All these are lacking in most states. If the necessities are there, it is in the worst state imaginable. Well, except for Lagos State and the Federal Capital Territory, of course, which has good court facilities. The few good court facilities in other states are mostly located at the capitals. Most courtrooms, especially customary courts, lack basic necessities such as table, chairs, electricity, air conditioners, toilets, and waiting rooms. The situation is so bad that some judges and magistrates conduct proceedings using torchlights. It's random to see judicial officers languishing in heat, sweating inside the congested courtroom while in session. We shall now carefully explore the special report from Vanguard posted on August 3, 2023, which exposed the deplorable situations of courts across the country and how it has affected the effective dispensation of justice. We did like to maintain that this report is not born out of spite. The report might have occasioned action from the government, but if no reasonable efforts have been taken, this discussion today is a humble appeal to the government and various stakeholders to do the needful and upgrade court facilities to modern standards. According to Vanguard findings in Ondo State, court buildings in Akure, the state capital, and other parts of the state are in terrible conditions. Apart from the Federal High Court rooms, the National Industrial Court rooms, and the Court of Appeal in Akure, most courts in the state lack efficient power supply. Some magistrate courts in Akure were displaced and had to find alternative sitting venues as the complex housing the magistrate court was demolished under the disguise of building an ultra-modern court complex by the present administration in the state. The foundation of the proposed complex has not been laid up till now. Findings show that courts outside Abeokuta are in various states of dilapidation. The High and Magistrate Court in Ilaro, the headquarters of Yewa South local government area, were built by the Western Region government, are in state of disrepair. There are clear cracks in the walls and the old worn-out pieces of furniture are still being in use by judges and magistrates. Litigants and counsels struggle to sit in Ado Odu, the magistrate court, which is in Ota town, while the high court, located along Sangu Idorike Road, is bushy and unkept. The magistrate and high courts in Itori, Ikwere local government area were recently built but are inaccessible when it rains due to the swampy nature of the area. The high court in Ikpokia local government area was built by the administration of Governor Benga Daniel, but recently does not have enough chairs and tables for lawyers and litigants. In Sagamu, the High Court premises is fenced but is almost overgrown by grass. In Ekiti State, courtrooms in 6 out of 10 judicial divisions, namely Omue, Ikole, Efon, Emure, Ilewe, and Ido Ekiti divisions are at various stages of dilapidation, while 20 out of 29 customary courts in the state are begging for renovation. Apart from the large expanse of car park space within Ekiti State High Court at the Ekiti premises, virtually all the courts suffer epileptic power supply and do not have provisions for restrooms. In Ikere Ekiti, the second largest town in the state, the only court facility in the town had been untaken by rodents and weeds until earlier this year, when an individual single-handedly built a new high court and donated it to the state judiciary. The situation is the same in most parts of Oyo State. Virtually all the courts in the state do not have adequate provisions for car parks, restrooms, and lawyers' robing rooms. Lawyers and litigants often struggle for the small sitting spaces inside the courts. Some law enforcement agents now exploit visitors, including lawyers, by impounding car parks outside the courts due to lack of parking spaces inside the court building. In Abia State, most courts in the 17 councils area of the state sit in dilapidated buildings and community halls due to lack of good court buildings and offices for judicial workers. Some of the courts outside the state capital, Umuahia, has dilapidated buildings with leaking roofs, lack of electricity supply and access roads, abandoned buildings and bushy premises. Vanguard gathered that most judges and magistrate law has resorted to sitting in morning hours to make way for their colleagues to sit in the afternoon period because of inadequate courtrooms. The worst sit are the magistrate and customary courts, where judicial staff sit in dilapidated buildings with no facilities to make their work easier. In Awka, Anambra State, the area housing the magistrate court is almost inaccessible, while the courts themselves lack the basic facilities. The situation is the same at customary courts, where many of the buildings are rented. One of the courts in the area was abandoned to rodents and reptiles, and criminals now use it as a hideout. Vanguard also observed that many courtrooms have no toilet facilities and lack sufficient spaces to accommodate litigants, lawyers, and observers. During court sittings, most of the personnel are usually seen hovering around the dilapidated buildings because there are no offices to accommodate them. It is the same sad story in some courts, especially the customary ones in Warri, Efurun, Agbaro, Ugeli, and Udu judicial divisions in Delta State, as lawyers sometimes tax themselves to provide benches for the courtrooms and do some renovations on the buildings. A lawyer, Alhaji Mubakai Unaga, painted a very grim picture of the situation to Vanguard, saying lawyers raise money to even fix leaking roof of some of the courts, warning that the state government should be alive to its responsibility to ensure smooth dispensation of justice. Except for the Federal High Court in Warri, with a relatively sizable courtroom to accommodate lawyers, litigants, and other stakeholders during proceedings, the other courtrooms can hardly take less than 25 persons sitting comfortably. Many of the buildings are old and begging for renovations. The situation is similar to other parts of the state. In Benin City, Edo State, most of the courts have state-of-the-art facilities. This is due largely to the efforts by former Governor Adams Oshiomhole administration, which undertook massive renovation of courts in state capital. Governor Godwin Obaseki has also improved on the efforts of his predecessor by renovating and constructing new ones. The State High Court complex located along Sapele Road, the State Customary Court of Appeal, now housing the Benin Division of the Court of Appeal along Agbonu Basiwin, and the National Industrial Court along Okada Avenue are all fitted with state-of-the-art facilities, including air conditioners, public address systems, and the rest. But outside the state capital, most of the courts are still what was inherited from the colonial government. In Abuja, the headquarters of Esan Southeast local government area, the High Court, situated about 300 meters from the Obaja prison, is in an old building that lacked a conducive working environment. The wall paintings have been washed off by rain, while there are just a few benches in the courtrooms. In Auchi, the magistrate court in the town was reconstructed after years of neglect. The High Court in the town looks good on the outside, but inside is sad. When it rains, proceedings cannot go on due to leaking roofs. The chairs and the tables in the court are old and damaged. It was gathered that then Deputy Governor Comrade Philip Shaibu visited the facility recently and promised that something will be done, but nothing has been done so far. Has something been done? I don't know. Please let us know in the comment section. In Rivers State, some of the magistrates and high courts outside Port Harcourt showed not much attention is being given to locations outside the state capital. At the Joint Magistrate and Customary Court Complex in Rumoji Division, Emuhu local government area, a senior court official told the major challenge in the division is the neglect of the residential quarters for staff. Court workers need the safety and convenience that official quarters provide. But see, the conditions here are nothing to write home about. Some of these uncompleted buildings have been abandoned for more than 2 decades. This is a challenge, he said. During Vanguard's visit to the magistrate court at Garden Street, Calabar South local government area, it was observed that the court premises were in dilapidated states. The buildings are old and worn out, with visible cracks on the walls and the roof. The courtrooms were small and crammed, with barely enough space to accommodate lawyers, magistrates, judges, and litigants. Most courtrooms, including high courts in the state, are poorly ventilated with no air conditioning or fans, making it uncomfortable for everyone present. The sitting arrangements are also inadequate, with broken benches and chairs scattered around the courtrooms. The lighting is poor, with some courtrooms having no electricity at all, making it difficult to conduct proceedings. The toilets are also in deplorable state, with broken toilets and no running water, making it unsanitary for both court officials and litigants. The court premises were also not secure, with no perimeter fence or security personnel to ensure the safety of people and property within the premises. Furthermore, Most of the courts now operate in town halls and health centers. Such courts include Magistrate Court of Ikotishe, which uses the Ikotishe Town Hall for sittings, Akai Efa and Ikorafanga Mukpa Court, which operates from rented venues. Vanguard visited the Magistrate Court facility at Garden Street, Calabar South Local Government area, which houses 5 courts including the 4 magistrates and 1 customary court, and observed that the facility is dilapidated. The situation is also the same in northern parts of the country. In Katsina State, there are at least 1 magistrate court and 1 Sharia court in each of the 34 local government areas. However, only 5 divisional courts sited in Kaduna, Duara, Malam Fashi, and Funtia and Dunshima local governments have good facilities. Most of the lower courts spread across the 34 local governments of the state operate without basic facilities such as electricity, recorder, translators, microphone speakers, and libraries. In terms of library facilities, out of the 5 divisional courts in Katsina State, Vanguard reliably gathered that only the court complex in Katsina Judicial Division has a well-equipped library. Another vital facility missing in all courts across Katsina State is the absence of lawyers' dressing room. Vanguard also learned that none of the court premises in the state has a dressing room for lawyers, which is said to be mandatory for every court to have. Also, some of the registries visited outside of the state capital have no power supply. The chairs and tables at the registries are mostly broken and the restrooms are no-go areas. The chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association, Aliyu Rafuka, confirmed some of the inadequacies but stated that the situation has slightly improved under the present Katsina Chief Judge, Justice Daonladi Abubakar. According to Rafuka, some new court buildings have been erected outside the state capital by the Katsina Chief Judge, though the gesture was not extended to courts in areas prone to banditry. In Kebbi State, no fewer than 200 courts are begging for government attention in terms of office accommodation and total overhaul of existing structures. There are at least 70 upper Sharia courts and nearly 200 lower Sharia courts, excluding High Court and State Appeal Court in Kebbi State. The High Court in Benin Kebbi has an excellent look, as well as the Sharia Appeal Court in the GRA area in Benin Kebbi. However, the Sharia, Magistrate and Customary Court in the local government headquarters are the ones begging for their attention, as most of them operate from rented apartments. In Borno State, all the courts and police stations located outside the Maiduguri have been destroyed by Boko Haram terrorists. The relocated courts in the state capital have also received desired reconstruction and re-equipping by the past and present administration of Governor Babagana Zulum. The 2 courts in Jere and Bill local government areas have also received some renovation attention. Presently, 24 local government areas in the state are without any functional courts. Findings in Adamawa State revealed that the High Court complex built by former Governor Murtala Nyako about 10 years ago have started deteriorating. Also, little attention is given to courts outside the state capital. Some of the magistrate and customary courts still operate in small and old colonial buildings which lack modern facilities. In Bauchi State, court buildings over the past years have received some amount of attention from the government in uplifting their architectural value and making court premises conducive for everyday judicial activities. The High Court, which currently serves as a tribunal where all electoral matters are being heard, are generally in good shape because most of the High Courts receive maintenance to make them conducive for tribunal sitting. Magistrate court buildings disrupted across the 20 local government areas of the state have been completed or are near completion. This is a deviation from the former practice where most magistrate courts were in rented apartments. However, Sharia courts are still behind in terms of infrastructural development of courts in the state. Most of the Sharia court buildings are dilapidated or are in rented buildings across the state. Many lawyers have expressed their views on the serious impact of dilapidated court facilities on the effective administration of justice. Notably, former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Chief Wole Onanikbekun San, said the situation is worrisome and requires urgent attention. He said it is disheartening that walls and roofs of a good number of courtrooms are collapsing and caving in. The basic facilities such as toilets and libraries are not available, and water as well as electricity are lacking. In most instances, functional libraries are not even available for surface research. It is a sad scene to see lawyers scrambling to secure seats with litigants or share available accommodations within the courtrooms. The setting of a typical or average courtroom should reflect an atmosphere of learning, which judges and lawyers subscribe to and are known for, rather than representing a rough, unclean, and unkept theatre. All hands must be on deck to facilitate the changes needed in courts. Courts are meant to be a diadem for the administration of justice. Courts are meant to be eloquent and well-maintained. The magistrate and customary courts should not be neglected when upgrading or building court facilities. Feel free to let us know the court in your areas or region that needs strict attention. If you found this video helpful, make sure you like, share to friends, and subscribe to our channel for more videos from the perspective of the law. I am your host, Ekeminudo, and this is Legal Essentials.